So, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how AI, artificial intelligence, and LLMs, large language models, are getting heavily involved in the whole cybersecurity space. How cybersecurity professionals are using AI and and large language models in order to help facilitate with catching attacks, to help facilitate with threat assessments and all of that good stuff. While on the other side, we have these hackers who are using the same types of AI and cyber and large language models to try to attack. So it's like a battle going on in the AI large language model realm between the ethical hackers and the unethical hackers. So we were going through an article on CSO Online. We got through half of it. The next part that we have to get into is about the elevating security and stuff like that. But what I want to do is I want to do a quick summary of what this article is, and I want to use the web page summarizer that we built during our Monday and Wednesday morning live streams. Going through the AI and large language model course, and we're going to use that to get a summary of the article, and then we're going to jump into where we left off last when we were talking about on this topic. All right, so. With that being said, let me get the show started. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Bug Bite, hosted by your shooting tech coach, Ralph, where we're engineered to win. Like I said, in today's episode, we're going to continue with that article from CSO Online, breaking down the use of large language models and artificial intelligence inside of cybersecurity, both from the good side as well as from the not so good side. All right. With that being said, let's jump into it. All right, so what we have here is Jupyter Notebooks, where we built out our web page summarizer. This one is using OpenAI. We built another one using Ollama, which is a open source local large language model. But we're gonna do the one on OpenAI to get a most recent one, right? Right now I'm leaning more towards the OpenAI because it is on the web. It's very, very well developed. But in the future, we might start building our own large language models, right? But I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but if you've seen the morning shows, if you've seen the clips, we have this display summary where we're going to pass in the URL of the website that this article is on, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that should be able to give us a little summary of what this article is about. And so there goes summary of generative AI is transforming the cyber threat landscape by democratizing vulnerability hunting. So the article discusses the transformative role of Gen AI and large language models in the field of cybersecurity, particularly in vulnerability hunting. Here are the key points covered. Democratization of vulnerability hunting. Gen AI tools such as LLMs are making it easier for both ethical hackers and malicious actors to discover vulnerabilities and develop exploits, effectively lowering the barrier to entry for penetration testing and cyber attacks. Utilization of cybersecurity experts, ethical hackers, and penetration testers are leveraging AI tools to expedite the identification and reporting of vulnerabilities to vendors, improving security measures before vulnerabilities can be exploited. Success rates and limitations. We're going to be talking about impact of zero-day exploits. We're going to look at some case studies. Concerns regarding malicious use. All right, so this is a summary of the article. I'm not going to read through everything, but I did want you to see though what we were learning in the mornings on Mondays and Wednesdays, and what we're learning on Thursday nights in our ethical hacking course that we're going through. Right, the link for both of those courses are in the description, and I would love to have you join me on Monday and Wednesday mornings as well as on Thursday nights as we learn this and we're putting it all together. Because now I'm already thinking, all right, well, how can I use the things that I'm learning on Mondays and Wednesdays, and how can I use the things that I'm learning on Thursdays together, and even the things that I'm learning on DevOps on Sundays, right? So let's jump into this article now, okay? So when we last left off, we're looking at the elevating complexity, right? So let's start reading, and then we'll give some feedback and commentary. Of course, the more complex a vulnerability or attack chain needed to achieve a desired impact, the more difficult it becomes for large language models to fully automate the discovery process. Still, large language models can identify complex bugs as long as knowledgeable user guides them, provides additional context, or breaks the problem into more targeted components. The real power comes in when you use a large language model to prioritize output from traditional analysis tools in order to supplement each potential finding with much more context, and then rank them in priority accordingly. Caleb Gross, Director of Capability Development at offensive security firm Bishop Fox told TSO. So basically what's happening here is that the more complex something is, you're going to have some manual intervention. However, we can use automation, we can use large language models, we can use AI to do a big portion of the work for us as long as we are guiding. And that's why when people say software engineers are going to be wiped out, QA engineers are going to be wiped out, this and that, there's going to be no jobs due to AI. I think that is rubbish. Why is that? Because of the fact that we need people to guide it. AI is only as good as the person who is prompting it. So that's why you need a knowledgeable user to guide them. So you still need to be well versed in, in ethical hacking, SOC analysts, GRC, all that type of stuff. You still need to be good at quality assurance. You still need to be good at software engineering, but you put all of that together and you use AI. And now, for me, AI, don't tell anybody I tell you this, right? But AI just gives more opportunity to do more things, do more work. It reduces the barrier of entry for businesses to actually be successful, because you can have a business here doing something in tech. You can have a YouTube channel as where you're a chef. You can have so many different businesses, and you can use AI to push that business. And now you have more business. You have employees who are doing very specific things that the AI probably cannot do. So I think there's a lot of opportunities. And for me, I think while people might be afraid of AI, I think it opens up so many doors, right? Because Gross believes that simply feeding code chunks into an LLM and asking it to identify flaws is neither efficient nor practical due to input size limitations for a single input. I agree. Known as the context window. For example, a model might identify a large number of unsafe uses of scripty in code C, which can in theory lead to a buffer overflow, but it won't be able to determine which of those code paths are reachable in the application and how. That's a great point. Gross and his Bishop Fox colleagues gave a presentation at RVA Sec 2024 about large language models vulnerability hunting and how they built a sorting algorithm using a large language model to rank potential false positives that come out of traditional static code analysis tools such as subgrep or patch diffing. LLMs can also be used in identifying code functions that parse that parse complex data and are good candidates for fuzzing, a type of security testing that involves feeding malformed data to a function to trigger unexpected behavior, such as crashes or information leaks. Large language models can even assist in setting up fuzzing test cases. It's not that we don't know how to fuzz, it's that we are limited in our capacity to find the right targets and do the initial legwork of writing a harness around it. Gross said, I've used large language models in that context quite effectively, right? So the things that are complicated, the things that are tedious, right? You know how to do it, but it's annoying. That's what you use the AI for. That's what you use a large language model for. The things that I don't want to do, I outsource it. I delegate it to AI, or I delegate it to a person to use AI to get it done for me, right? So that's how I feel about that. It says, using large language models to write exploits and bypass detection. Identifying potential vulnerabilities is one thing, but writing exploit code that works against them requires a more advanced understanding of security flaws, programming, and the defense mechanisms that exist on targeted platforms. For instance, turning a buffer overflow bug into a remote code execution exploit may involve bypassing a process sandbox mechanism or circumventing OS-level defenses such as ASLR and DEP. Similarly, exploiting a weak input validation issue in a web form to launch a successful SQL injection attack might require bypassing generic filters for SQL injection payloads or evading a web application firewall deployed in front of the application. This is one area where large language models could make a significant impact, bridging the knowledge gap between junior bug hunters and experienced exploit writers. even generating new variations of existing exploits to bypass detection signature in firewalls and intrusion prevention systems is a notable development, as many organizations don't deploy available security patches immediately. We've spoken about that in length, and that is a recipe for disaster. As we saw with, I forgot which company it was. It was one of the major credit score companies, credit monitoring companies. They did not deploy a patch on time, and it led to havoc, right? Instead of relying on the security vendors to add detection for known exploits until their patching cycles update. I am not even going to try this name, but this person, cybersecurity specialist lead at Deloitte Romania, and a bug hunter with over 100 responsibly disclosed CVEs, told CSO he hasn't used LLMs in his own bug hunting efforts, but has colleagues on his team who have successfully used LLMs during penetration testing engagements to write exploit payloads that bypass existing defenses. See, so there goes an idea. There goes an idea of something that you can do as well. So many different realms to get into with this stuff, right? While he doesn't feel LLMs have a major impact on the zero-day ecosystem yet, he sees their potential to disrupt it. They seem to be able to help researchers in finding 0 days by serving as a centralized knowledge repository to shorten the time required to develop an exploit. For example, coding part of the exploit, providing generic code templates, which leads to an overall increase in the number of 0 days, he said. Tools that he noted include Odd AI, a subscription-based chatbot and model trained on cybersecurity data, and large language model powered penetration testing framework, Hacking Buddy GPT. All right, we have to make a note of that. We definitely need to exploit that. All right, to explore that. Bishop Fox's Gross described his experience with the large language models writing exploits as hesitant optimism, noting that he's seen instances where large language models have gone down rabbit holes and lost sight of the broader perspective. We always like to go down rabbit holes, all right? Maybe the large language model has ADHD, not officially diagnosed, like me, right? It says he also feels that good, highly technical material on exploit writing, an area that can be very nuanced and complex, isn't as widely available online as, for example, security testing resources. As a result, large language models have likely been trained on fewer successful examples of exploit writing than other topics. All right, so large language models bridging the security knowledge gap. Bit Sentinel's NetSkew has already seen the impact of large language models that large language models can have in elevating threat hunters game. Shout out to Nightjade for putting me on to the position of threat hunters. I did not know that was a thing, but shout out to my friend Nightjade. Right? It says, as leader of the team that organizes the Capture the Flag hacking competition at DEF Camp, NetSkew and the D-CTF organizers, my goodness, had to rethink some of the challenges this year because they realized they would have been too easy to solve with the help of large language models compared to previous years. AI tools can help less experienced individuals create more sophisticated exploits and obfuscation of their payloads, which aids in bypassing security mechanisms or providing detailed guidance for exploiting specific vulnerabilities, NetSkew said. This indeed lowers the entry barrier within the cybersecurity field. At the same time, though, it can also assist experienced exploit developers by suggesting improvements to their existing code, identifying novel attack vectors, or even automating parts of the exploit chain. This could lead to more efficient and effective zero-day exploits, all right? So let's continue. It says, this year's DEF CON Capture the Flag event saw nearly 800 teams from 92 countries compete in the qualifier stage, with 16 finalists competing on site at conferences. Two members of the winning team, Hackamus Papum, told CSO they relied on ChatGPT to solve some of the challenges, including one involving a misconfigured AWS cloud environment. So they still were responsible for solving it. And that's what I want you to understand. While you have ChatGPT and all these tools, they do not do the work for you. They give you a major assistance, right? But you still have to figure it out on your own. To retrieve the flag, they had to exploit a server-side request forgery SSRF flaw to extract credentials from metadata and then use those credentials against the other services interacting with an S3 bucket. Because they had no experience interacting with those AWS services and their APIs, ChatGPT proved to be a great help in guiding them in the post-exploitation stage after they found the initial vulnerability themselves, which was relatively easy and probably something ChatGPT could have spotted as well if given the code. Their team is also evaluating Vuln Hunter for discovering vulnerable areas in the code, but for now, they feel filling knowledge gaps is where large language models can best assist humans. Large language models can provide ideas on where to look and what to try, a process similar to troubleshooting. Like I was just saying, right? It gives you it points you in the right direction. It does not do it for you, but it points you in the right direction, at least for now. HIPAA Kubeka highlighted this aspect as well, noting that bug hunters can ask LLMs to explain code in unfamiliar programming languages or errors they encounter while trying out their exploit. The large language model can help them figure out what's wrong and suggest ways to fix it or how to refactor the code. Large language models can reduce the skill required to write weaponized exploits, she said, by providing detailed instructions, generating code templates, or even debugging exploit attempts. Large language models make it easier for individuals to develop functional exploits, while bypassing advanced protection mechanisms still requires a deep understanding of modern defenses. Large language models can assist in generating polymorphic variations, bypass payloads, and other components of the weaponization, significantly aiding the process. All right. I am not going to try. Maybe Horianita, member of the Few Chosen, the team that took second in the DevCamp CCF, confirmed that his team used several custom-made AI tools to help scan new code bases, provide insight into potential attack vectors, and offer explanations for code they encounter. So this team actually created custom-made AI tools. So they made it themselves in order to provide insight on these attack vectors. I commend that. Right? With the current state of AI, it can sometimes generate functional and useful exploits or variations of payloads to bypass detection rules, he said. However, due to the high likelihood of hallucinations and inaccuracies, it's not as reliable as one might hope. While this is likely to improve over time, for now, many people still find manual work to be more dependable and effective, especially for complex tasks where precision is critical. And I say, I agree, but you should also be preparing yourself and knowing you should be the one to make the large language model more dependable because it's coming anyways, right? So find a way to use it effectively so that you don't get ran out of the market. Despite clear limitations, many vulnerability researchers find large language models valuable, leveraging their capabilities to accelerate vulnerability discovery, assist in exploit writing, re-engineer malicious payloads for detection, evasion, and suggest new attack paths and tactics with varying degree of success. They can even automate the creation of vulnerability disclosure reports. That's very, very helpful. A time-consuming activity researchers generally dislike. Who likes writing reports anyways, right? Of course, malicious actors are also likely leveraging these tools. It is difficult to determine whether an exploit or payload was written by a large language model when discovered in the wild, but researchers have noted instances of attackers clearly putting large language models to work. In February, Microsoft and OpenAI released a report highlighting how some well-known APT groups have been using large language models. Some of the detected TTPs include large language model informed reconnaissance, large language model enhanced scripting languages, LLM enhanced anomaly detection evasion, and LLM assisted vulnerability research. It's safe to assume that the adoption of LLMs and generative AI among threat actors has only increased since then, and organizations and security teams should strive to keep up by leveraging these tools as well. And this article is written by Lucien Constantine at CSO Online, a CSO senior writer. All right, so let's go back to our full screen. And there we have it. There we have it for today. That's the article. That is how generative AI is being, and large language models are being used to help and to hurt the cybersecurity industry. It's a battle. It's going to be an ever-waging battle between the ethical hackers and the unethical hackers, those who are trying to wreak havoc and those who are trying to protect and defend us, all right? That's it for today. Let me know your thoughts on part 2 of this article. Do you see this as something growing? Do you use large language model? Do you use AI? Let me know. I'm curious to know. I'm going to wrap it up for today, though. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of The Bug Bite, hosted by your shooty tech coach, Ralph. Do me a favor on your way out. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and new content. As well, go to techcoachralph.dev where you can sign up for exclusive content. You can sign up for one-on-one coaching with me where we can work together one-on-one, learning large language models, learning cybersecurity, learning everything, and helping you level up in your career in the tech space, all of that good stuff, so you do not have to ever again run in the victim Olympics. But with that being said, I'm out of here. You guys have an amazing rest of your Friday and an amazing weekend. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
Caught in a glitch, what's the fix this time? Chasing down bugs, oh it feels like a crime. Every software tale, got a story to tell. In the world of tech, it's a digital swell. Watch us dive deep in lines of code, finding the truth on this heavy road. Welcome to the Bug Bite, we unveil the fight. In a world of software, we'll shine the light. From errors to dangers, we'll guide your way. Stay tuned for the scoop every single day. Lurk in the data stream, hacking our dreams. Is it all just a scheme? From the latest news to the viral threat, we break it all down. You ain't seen nothing yet. With every bug found, we take a stance. Join in the rhythm, give tech a chance. Welcome to the Bug Bite, we unveil the fight. In a world of software, we'll shine the light. From errors to dangers, we'll guide your way. Stay tuned for the scoop every single day. Hit and subscribe, don't miss out the fun. Together we'll conquer one bug at a run. Stay tuned for the scoop every single day. So hit that subscribe, don't miss out the fun. Together we'll conquer one bug at a run.